Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Clams. I'm Will, and I am not in Key West. I am on the island of Bimini in the Bahamas. Spending the next 5 days here. Hopefully we get into some fishing. I'm going out with my buddy Showndre. We might just go snapper fishing. We might go offshore for some tuna. We're not sure. Definitely want to get some conch. We'll see if we'll get some lobster. But I know it's going to be a good 5 days and we'll cook up some good stuff. I might not be the one doing the cooking. I might just be showing you the Bahamians doing the cooking. We'll see what happens. I do have a kitchen in the place I'm staying, and I got a couple of friends on the island, so I'm sure I'll do a little bit of cooking. But for right now, we're gonna go get a beer and start our trip in the Bahamas. Alright, so first stop, we're gonna get some vegetables in case we do catch some stuff tomorrow. At least I got some stuff to work for, so. So today is gonna be my lucky day because the first place I went into had tomatoes. And just keep that in mind, we're on an island, and if the supply ship doesn't come, they don't get supplies. So everything is a little bit minimal, which is nice. That's a really interesting way of cooking. It's a good way of cooking, and it's actually something that I enjoy, living off really minimal ingredients. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my day, and then tomorrow I'll go out with Showndre and we'll get some fish and some conch, and we'll make some conch salad. Hopefully as good as the one at Joe's. Fingers crossed. All right, we're on the way north side of Bimini now, and I'm with my buddy Showndre there. In the description, I'm gonna put his Instagram. If you come to Bimini, that's the kid to bonefish with. He's a great guide here. And like I said, when I mentioned the conch, he said no problem. So we came up here and we're just gonna wade out and go grab a couple. I had said earlier catch conch, but I don't think you catch them, you just collect them. They don't really have the ability to run away from you. But yeah, I'm gonna head out there and we're gonna go grab some conch. See, this isn't fair because Showndre is much taller than I am. So he's not even up to his waist yet. And here's a good note. Always listen to your guide. He asked me if I wanted to go earlier, and I said, no, we'll go a little bit later. Well, a little bit later, we're at dead high tide. So it's gonna make this a little more difficult. Always listen to your guide. That's rule number one here. Still searching. I don't feel that bad because Showndre hasn't pulled any up yet either, so I know it's not just me and not spotting them. Now it's a little hard because we got some cloud cover today, so we're not getting the sunshine we need to see the bottom, and if we're not doing this snorkeling, this makes it a little bit harder. But we're gonna keep trucking and find some conch so we can make some conch salad.
You just gotta keep looking until you find the bigger ones.
That's it.
So you can tell it's still pretty young because there's no moss on the shell, but there's a conch in there.
right.
And there's also a little baby one right there as well.
Little tiny one.
Yeah. So all you gotta do is look well enough because the big ones have moss on them,
Okay.
and you should find a few fish.
And what kind of conch are these?
These are queen conch.
Okay. Because the only thing, Aaron and I down in Key West, you're not allowed to keep the queen conch. You can't, it's illegal to keep them, but you're allowed to keep horse conch. So we got that, and cleaning that thing was a nightmare, getting it out of the shell.
Yeah,
So,
horse conch down here, but not many people. A few of the older locals would,
we'll eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't eat it. I've personally never had it.
It was a lot to clean, and the edible part, there wasn't much of it, and you had to pound that out with a hammer to get it nice and tender. But we're gonna keep looking. I actually spotted one.
Oh, it is big enough. Yep.
There we go. So inside there is the animal, and you make a hole in the top here. So you make a hole in the top here, and then with a knife you scoop out the mollusk inside. We've got one. We're gonna keep going. Hopefully we get 2, 3 more.
Pretty buried in the sand.
Go. 2 down.
Yeah, so this conch just recently hit adulthood because the crown is still pretty new and has a beautiful sharp shape to it. But this one's all dull and worn down, and there's more moss on this one than this one. But they're basically the same size.
So I don't know if you can see it, but there's a stingray right here in the water sleeping. And that would not be fun to step on. He's big. Wow. He's got to be at least 3 feet across, if not more. We're gonna let him sleep. Next week we'll do a stingray catch and cook. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's small.
Too small.
Smaller than my hand.
And that barracuda's following you. He's interested.
It might be too small as well. Yeah, just right there. Still too small.
Too small.
Yeah.
You gotta let them go to let them grow. Yeah, we don't want to decimate the population, so you go by the rules and regulation of wherever you are. That's one of the reasons we're not allowed to take them in Key West, because people just absolutely annihilated the population of conch. And they're coming back now, but still, if they let people go and collect them, they would wipe them out real quick. All right, Showndre found our 3rd conch. If we get lucky, maybe we'll get one more on the walk-in, but we got our 3. Oh, that's a good one too.
Look at the colors on this thing.
Oh, wow. We got our 3 conch over here at Ebby and Pat's, and the chef here is gonna open them up and give me a tutorial on how to clean conch. So we'll head over in a second and watch him do that.
You know what kind of conch this is?
Queen conch.
Now, this is a regular conch,
Yeah,
but this is a juvenile conch. It's a small conch.
yeah.
All right? Anytime you see the lift like this, juvenile.
Juvenile.
Like those. One, 2, and you got to hit it here
Okay.
to come out. It's out.
That's it.
Yeah. It's a male. You take this off, this is a pound slop. You can fish them with this.
Okay.
Okay? Conch red, that's the penis. Okay? That's the conch feet. That's the breast, the two eyes, and the nose.
Okay.
How you tell it's the penis? Watch this. You play with it.
Gotcha.
Take off the feet. These can make earrings. This is stomach. And you have that right there. Take that out. What you want me to do with it, Rick? It's out.
All right, now I'm gonna make my version of conch salad. I went to Joe's. I had the best on the island. We caught him fresh. Showndre knew exactly where to go on foot, without mask, without diving. So that was really cool, just walking around, wading in the water and finding them and getting the lesson on which ones you can take. And I think that's really important, to go with a guide and a local so that you can learn, you know, the traditions and the regulations more so. So we're at the most southern end of North Bimini. That's South Bimini right across there. And I got my little makeshift setup here. So I have my conch. Now next time as I'm storing it, I think what I would do is actually store it in seawater, because it left a little bit of fluid there, a little bit of moisture, but that's okay. We're only a day away from when we started. So now the traditional one that you get over at Joe's is onion, garlic salt, tomato, and green pepper. And then they mix it up, put lime on top, and a vinegar scotch bonnet sauce that you better have your affairs in check, because that sauce is gonna knock you out. So we're gonna sub out, I have some Crystal hot sauce, and I'm gonna add a little bit of apple to mine and cucumber to kind of cool down the sauce, and then the apple to add a little bit of tartness. So the other thing here is that I'm working with what I got, which isn't much. I had to track down a knife and a cutting board, and this knife is not very sharp, but hey, at least we got a knife. Also, my knife skills are not nearly as good as all those women at Joe's. I mean, my gosh, how fast they are. But that knife that they got is super sharp. So I'm gonna cut this up into not tiny pieces, but a little bit smaller than dice. It really makes a big difference as far as the texture and how tender the conch is. But since this is fresh, the texture is already perfect. And also, some of the things you can do, you can put tenderizer on it or you can pound it out. I did neither. I don't think it needs it. Now granted, that would make it much, much more tender, but I like a little bit of the chew. Hacking away here, this knife is as dull as they come. I'm lucky how tender this conch is. And I'm starting with my conch first because in my mind, I know how much onion, how much of everything else I want in there, but I know it as a visual thing compared to how much conch I have. So that's why I'm getting this out of the way first. All right, we got our conch cut, and that's a pretty good amount from those 3 guys. I mean, I'm gonna be a slob and eat all of it myself, but Showndre actually is out on a fishing charter today, so unfortunately, you know, I have nothing to put it in to save him some, but normally I would. This might be the dullest knife. I'm almost better off using a spoon right now. But hey, beggars cannot be choosers. Now our tomato. Oh, this is not gonna be fun with a dull knife. A little bit of apple. I'll be lucky to get out of this without a cut finger with this knife. Woo. I don't want to put in too much of the apple because I don't want it to take over the flavor. So just a little bit to add that little bit of crunch and a little bit of tartness. And some yellow pepper. Traditionally they do green pepper, but I was at the mercy of the store and the only thing they had was the yellow pepper. Now a little bit of cucumber. Not much of that either. I really want the conch itself to shine. I don't want to cover it up with anything. All this is just adding flavor to the conch. Not covering it up. Now our hot sauce. And most important, our garlic salt. And they are generous with this garlic salt when you go to Joe's, so I'm not gonna skimp on it either. Lime. Now the conch you could eat raw, so I'm not really doing a ceviche. I don't want the lime to really cook the conch at all. It's just honestly a dressing. Add a fork somewhere. There we go. Try to give this a stir. It's amazing when you have things this fresh, what little you do to them, and they're amazing. Like I'm not really partial to cracked conch when they fry it. I just think it's such an amazing ingredient as is. Like, it tastes so good raw. It's so subtle that when you bread it and fry it and start adding butter and everything else, it takes away. Now you just have something that has texture but not a ton of flavor. This to me is the most pure, perfect way to eat conch. That's me. I don't know how the Bahamians feel, but I really like it this way. And there we have it. As simple as can be. Let's see. Give it a shot. I mean, in this setting, this doesn't get any better. This is like the best afternoon I've had in a while. Instead of planes going overhead, I got the ferry boat behind me, which is a much nicer sound. Everything in here, the onion gives a little bit of bite. The tomato brings a little bit of richness. That apple really does. In my head, when I saw it in the store, I was thinking either an apple or an orange, just to add another element, but the apple has the crunch and that little burst of tartness mixed with the sour of the lime and the garlic salt. You can't beat that garlic salt. This is one of the best products ever. But all right, I'm gonna hang out, listen to the waves, finish eating this. It's a shame I don't have someone here to share it with, because this is a lot, but I'm gonna eat it all. If you liked this episode, hit like, hit subscribe. Best thing you could do is share it, and I'll catch you on the next one.